You're not running out of time because you're unmotivated. You're running out of time because you're constantly trying to justify yourself to people who have no real place in your journey. In a world that thrives on noise, where attention is currency and validation is an addiction, choosing silence is no weakness. It's strength. It's mastery. Let me ask you something. What if the real breakthrough you're looking for doesn't come from doing more, but from saying less? When was the last time you paused and truly asked, whose approval am I chasing? Whose standards am I living by? If you're feeling tired, uninspired, or like your worth is always up for debate, that's not a coincidence. That's the trap most people fall into. This video isn't about working harder. It's about going inward. Because the truth is, the greatest shift you can make isn't external, it's internal. And once you master that, no amount of hustle will ever compare. But I won't sugarcoat it. It's uncomfortable. Why? Because silence forces you to face yourself. And in a world screaming for attention, that might be the bravest thing you ever do. Remember this, it's not motivation you're lacking, it's clarity in the midst of chaos. So stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with one lesson that could shift your entire direction. And trust me, it's one you don't want to miss. Lesson 1. The power of returning to yourself. In a world that never stops spinning, where chaos shouts and distractions seduce, there's one sacred act that can realign everything: returning to your center. Not as a retreat, but as a revolution. True peace doesn't arrive through noise or applause. It doesn't come from scrolling, comparing, or trying to keep up. It comes when you pull back from the chaos and reconnect with the one place that's always been steady, within. Picture this. You're not just a person caught in the storm. You're the stillness beneath it. Like the sun that remains unchanged behind passing clouds, your essence doesn't disappear when life gets loud. You just stop seeing it. You forget who you are because you're too busy observing the weather, rehashing old arguments, stressing about futures that haven't happened, chasing a version of life someone else curated online. And while you're out there, life slips away. Not all at once, but in unnoticed moments. That's what happens when you drift from your center. You become reactive instead of intentional. You become visible to others, but invisible to yourself. But what if stillness wasn't something to fear, but something to embrace? In the silence you've been avoiding lies the answer you've been seeking. Buddhist wisdom teaches that mindfulness isn't about isolating yourself on a mountaintop. It's about remembering your truth in the middle of noise. It's about tuning in when the world wants you to tune out. It's not escape. It's engagement with your real self. When you stop trying to fix everything out there and begin calming what's in here, clarity surfaces. The confusion fades. The noise weakens. You begin to realize how often you were trying to earn peace by pleasing others, when peace was always waiting in your own presence. So how do you start? First, create stillness, not by escaping the world, but by creating calm in your breath, your body, your mind. Second, become the observer of your thoughts. Don't resist them, just watch. Let them pass like birds across a sky. Third, direct your attention to what you control, your inner state, your choices, your energy. Fourth, return, again and again. This is not a one-time ritual. It's a practice, a commitment. There's a story of a wise man who remained quiet while others argued around him. When asked why, he said, "If a person hands you a burden and you don't pick it up, who carries it? That's not passivity. That's power. So take inventory. Where is your time, your energy, your peace going? Is it leaking into fear, into proving your worth? Or is it invested in your growth, your truth, your purpose? When you stop performing and start being, life aligns. You stop reacting and start living. You stop competing and start creating. Noise is constant, but you don't have to be part of it. You are not the storm. You are the calm it cannot shake. Return to your breath. Return to what matters. return to yourself. Because in that return, you remember, silence isn't the absence of action, it's the presence of power. Lesson 2. The strength hidden in silence. Silence isn't emptiness, it's depth, it's awareness. In a culture that celebrates constant updates, endless debates, and fast replies, silence feels unnatural, almost invisible. But what if that's exactly why it holds so much power? In Buddhist thought, silence isn't the absence of sound, it's the presence of alignment. It's like a mirror-like lake at dawn, still, quiet, and perfectly clear. Only when the water's calm can we see the reflection of truth. Now ask yourself this: how often do you speak just to fill the space? To defend? To feel seen? Every word you speak carries energy. And in your rush to respond, to be right, to be heard, you may be trading something sacred: your peace. There's ancient wisdom in stillness. A Zen master once remained silent through every insult and misunderstanding hurled at him. When someone asked why he never responded, he simply said, "Because I value peace more than proving a point." That is not silence from fear. It is silence from strength. Not everything demands a response. Not every jab deserves your energy. True mastery is often found in what you withhold, not what you say. Think about it. How many times have you regretted what you said in anger or haste? How often have you replayed arguments in your head, wishing you had said less or said nothing at all? Now imagine this. What if your silence was your greatest power? What if restraint was your greatest form of control? When you speak less, you hear more, not just others, but your own truth. You begin to understand what actually matters and what was just noise. You stop reacting to everything and start responding to what truly deserves your energy. And that shift changes everything, because silence isn't just the absence of words, it's the presence of intention. It turns chaos into clarity. It doesn't mute your presence, it magnifies it. People trust those who are calm in the storm, not because they're quiet, but because their silence holds weight. It says, "I don't need to prove myself. I know who I am." Want to begin this practice? Try this. Step 1. Before speaking, pause. Ask yourself, is this helpful? Will it bring peace or just more noise? Step 2. When you listen, truly listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Absorb, reflect, stay present. Step 3. Let your silence become a space, not a void. Let it hold your emotions until they soften and settle. Step 4. Reflect daily. Ask yourself, what did I learn by choosing silence today? Eventually you'll notice something powerful. The things you didn't say kept your energy intact. The reactions you held back gave you freedom. And the silence you practiced turned into strength you never knew you had. So I ask you, when was the last time your silence carried more wisdom than your words ever could? That moment when you chose not to react, that was strength. That was self-mastery. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to explain yourself to be valid. The most disciplined people don't dominate with words. They guide with presence. In a world that never stops talking, silence is a quiet rebellion. It's the way you rise, the way you protect your peace. Sometimes, the most profound message you can send is the one you never speak. Lesson 3. Letting go of negativity. How to become untouchable. You only lose what you cling to. These simple yet profound words from the Buddha hold a mirror to our suffering. Every time you grip tightly to pain, whether it's a past mistake, a harsh word, or a broken expectation, you hand over your peace. But what if you could simply release it? Think of the open sky. It holds everything: storms, lightning, winds, but it never becomes them. No matter what passes through, it remains vast, unshaken. Your mind can be just like that, still, expansive, untouchable. But most of us don't live like the sky. We live like the storm. Someone says something cruel, and we carry it for days. One failure, and we question our worth. A single moment of rejection, and it becomes our story. This isn't clarity, it's captivity. But here's the truth. The moment you stop attaching to every thought, every opinion, every emotion, you become free, not cold, not distant, just clear. Imagine moving through life like water, fluid, grounded, unbothered. When someone criticizes you, you don't resist or absorb, you observe. When negativity knocks, you don't answer, not because you don't care, but because your peace matters more. That's what detachment really is. It's not indifference. It's choosing where your energy flows. It's recognizing that not every voice deserves space in your mind. Just because something stings doesn't mean it belongs to you. Ask yourself, how many times have you felt drained after clinging to a conflict, seeking validation, or revisiting an old wound? That exhaustion wasn't caused by the world. It was caused by your grip on it. Want to become untouchable? Here's how to start. Step 1. Notice your triggers. What pulls your peace away? What makes you feel small, reactive, or off-center? Step 2. Pause. Breathe. Instead of reacting, become aware. You are not your emotions. You are the one observing them. Step 3. Ask, does this deserve space in my awareness? Most things don't. Step 4. Let it pass. Visualize it like a cloud in a wide sky. You're not the cloud. You are the sky that holds it. There's a powerful story of a monk who smiled when insulted. Later, someone asked why he didn't respond. He replied, if someone tries to give you a gift and you don't accept it, who does it belong to? That's what true detachment looks like. Not weakness, but wisdom. Not apathy, but emotional intelligence. When you stop personalizing every opinion and internalizing every wound, you become lighter, freer, stronger. You reclaim your power, not by controlling others, but by mastering your own reactions. And here's the truth. Detachment is love in its highest form. Love for your peace, love for your growth, love for your life. You stop explaining, you stop defending, you stop clinging to things that were never yours to hold. And in that space, you rise, not above others, but above the chaos. So I ask you, what if your greatest strength isn't in reacting, but in releasing? What would your life feel like if you stopped absorbing the noise and started radiating stillness? In a world obsessed with confrontation, your calm becomes your revolution. Let the world spin, let the words fly, let the storms roll. And you? Stay still, stay grounded, stay free. The less you carry, the higher you rise. Lesson 4. Discipline is sacred. Build the life no one sees. Discipline isn't about rules, it's about remembering who you are. It's the quiet architecture of freedom. And the truth is, a disciplined mind doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates peace in the middle of the storm. Not someday, not after things settle. Right now. We live in a world pulling you in every direction. Notifications, distractions, noise. But the moment you choose structure over chaos, you reclaim your life. Think of a bamboo tree. For years, nothing happens above ground, but beneath the surface, deep roots, quiet growth. And then, suddenly, it rises higher than anyone expected. That's what discipline does. It builds silently. Then it transforms visibly. In Buddhist thought, discipline is devotion. It's not a prison. It's a promise to yourself. A commitment to rise above impulse and return to purpose, especially when no one's watching. Because those quiet choices shape who you become. When life feels unstable, it's not motivation you need, it's structure. When your emotions are loud, it's your daily habits that keep you grounded. Discipline doesn't chase calm, it creates it. Ask yourself, how many moments have you lost waiting for inspiration? For the right mood to begin? Now ask a better question. What could you build if you just started? Because real strength is built when the voice in your head says, skip it, and you don't. That voice isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. Each time you overcome it, your inner power expands. Discipline is what you choose in the dark, when there's no applause, no audience, no reward, just you and the path. It's found in the rituals no one sees, the deep breaths in traffic, the 10 minutes of meditation before dawn, the decision to walk away from distraction and toward your purpose. Here's how to begin building your sacred structure. Step 1. Start small. Choose one ritual that reflects your deepest values. Keep it simple, but meaningful. Step 2. Show up daily, regardless of how you feel. Let consistency be your compass. Step 3. Track the shift in your energy. When peace becomes the reward, discipline becomes natural. Step 4. Focus on alignment, not perfection. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do what matters. There's a story of a monk who swept the same path each morning, even when no leaves had fallen. When asked why, he replied, "The leaves aren't the point. The sweeping is." That's the essence of discipline. It's less about the outcome and more about the presence you bring to the process. So take a moment to ask yourself, what would your days feel like if your choices matched your values? What would life look like if you honored your peace? Not by wishing for it, but by building it. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You need intention and repetition. Because one day, all that silent work will rise, just like the bamboo. And everyone will see what you've known all along. Discipline is the unseen force behind everything meaningful. Keep showing up, quietly, consistently, devotedly. Because the life you dream of isn't built by chance, it's built by discipline. Lesson 5. Release the weight that was never yours to carry. Imagine trying to bloom in a garden where someone constantly steps on your roots. No matter how much sunlight you bring, it won't matter if the soil poisons your growth. Sometimes, the greatest act of self-respect isn't confrontation, it's quiet departure. Not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. Because the truth is, your soul cannot expand in a space that keeps shrinking your light. We often stay, thinking that our kindness will melt someone's cruelty, that our patience will somehow transform chaos into calm. But ask yourself this: are you nurturing your spirit, or simply patching up the holes others keep tearing open? Buddhist wisdom teaches boundless compassion, but never at the cost of self-destruction. You were not born to be a reservoir for other people's darkness. You are not unkind for choosing peace over prolonged pain. Energy moves like water. It fills the container it's given. If you surround yourself with storms, don't be surprised when your inner skies turn grey. And soon, you forget what your own silence even sounds like. There's an old tale about a monk who greeted everyone with a blessing. One day, a stranger hurled insults at him. The monk smiled and walked on. When asked why he didn't respond, he said, "If someone hands you a burning coal, you don't have to hold it." This is the kind of wisdom we often abandon in the name of loyalty. Letting someone go doesn't mean you wish them harm. It means you've stopped allowing them to harm you. Sometimes the people draining you share your last name. Sometimes they share your bed. But emotional familiarity doesn't make something healthy. You can hold space for love and still walk away from damage. Not every bond is meant to last. Some are meant to teach, and if you grip too tightly, you bleed. But if you let go, you begin to breathe again. So, how do you begin to protect your energy? First, notice how your body reacts around certain people. Do you feel light, or do you feel like you're shrinking? Second, create quiet boundaries. You don't have to justify your peace. Space is a right, not a punishment. Third, welcome stillness. Find your sanctuary in silence, not in noise disguised as connection. Fourth, release with love. You can wish them well and still walk alone. This isn't about cutting people off. It's about coming back to alignment. When you guard your peace, you make room for those who uplift your soul, not those who question your light. So pause and ask yourself, who are you when the noise falls away? Who are you without the echoes of doubt, judgment, or drama? You are clear. You are steady. You are whole. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's sacred. Not everyone will walk beside you on the path ahead. And that's not a failure. That's freedom. Letting go is not the end. It's the beginning of the peace you always deserved. Lesson 6. Build the invisible foundation that shapes your life. We often wait for change to arrive like thunder, loud, dramatic, undeniable. But the truth? The most profound transformations happen in silence, not in applause, not in milestones, but in the quiet minutes when no one's watching. The choices you make when it's just you and your future waiting on the other side. Growth doesn't show up with fanfare. It moves like a shadow, subtle, steady, and shaped by repetition. A single breath of awareness, a single glass of water, a single moment of choosing presence over distraction. These aren't trivial. They're the brushstrokes painting the canvas of your life. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, each moment carries the potential to become something sacred. You're not just passing time, you're shaping identity. Every action is a thread in the fabric of who you're becoming. Your peace isn't found in some distant, perfect tomorrow. It's created in the micro decisions you make today, the thoughts you nurture, the space you hold for stillness, the rituals you protect when the world isn't looking. It's not about rigid rules. It's about meaningful repetition, small acts that center you, a stretch instead of a scroll, a breath of gratitude instead of a rush into chaos, 5 minutes of quiet instead of 50 chasing noise. These daily touches are more than habits. They're spiritual blueprints, like carving a sanctuary within yourself, one gesture at a time. Each time you choose mindfulness over mindlessness, you lay another stone in the temple of your inner peace. The path is simple, but not easy, because discipline is quiet. No one celebrates you for skipping distractions or honoring a morning ritual, but your soul feels it. Your future feels it. So pause and ask yourself, what invisible rhythm is shaping your life today? Is it building your strength or stealing your clarity? Here's how to begin crafting your inner architecture. Step 1. Choose one small action that reconnects you to your inner truth. Step 2. Attach it to a daily moment, like brushing your teeth, drinking water, or getting out of bed. Step 3. Guard it. Make it non-negotiable, no matter how you feel. Step 4. Reflect. How do you feel afterward? Let that experience guide you forward. Every time you honor a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you affirm your worth. You whisper to your mind, I can trust myself. And that trust becomes identity. That identity becomes behavior. That behavior becomes reality. There's a quiet proverb: we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the strength of our systems. So build slowly, build kindly, build with patience. Because real change isn't loud, it's sacred, and it begins in the tiniest acts of self-respect, repeated again and again until they become who you are. Lesson 7. Be still in the storm. Respond with presence. When the world throws chaos your way, most people get swept into it, like leaves caught in a sudden wind. A harsh word, an unexpected setback, a moment of discomfort, and suddenly they're not in control. Their reactions are. But imagine standing firm in that storm. Not stiff, not resistant, but flexible, grounded, unshaken, like bamboo that bends with the wind but never snaps. This is the quiet strength of mindful awareness. Chaos doesn't create suffering. Our unchecked reactions do. The untrained mind lunges forward, defending, lashing out, collapsing into fear. But a conscious mind, it breathes, it listens, it chooses. In that small pause between stimulus and response lies your freedom. Think back to the last time you reacted on impulse. Did it solve the problem or simply deepen the wound? Quick reactions come from ego, defensive, emotional, urgent, but responses arise from wisdom, from that breath you allowed yourself before speaking, from the space you gave your heart to stay calm, from the awareness that peace matters more than pride. Your breath is not just oxygen, it's your anchor in every storm. No matter how loud the world becomes, one inhale and one exhale can bring you home. Before sending that message, breathe. Before raising your voice, pause. Before letting emotion lead, center yourself. This is the art of staying rooted in chaos. Here's how to practice that stillness daily. Step 1. Identify what sparks your reactions. Certain voices, certain fears, certain moments. Step 2. Interrupt that emotional spiral. Breathe for 5 seconds. Nothing fancy, just presence. Step 3. Ask gently, will this reaction heal or harm? Will it bring clarity or confusion? Step 4. Practice in the small things. Traffic, delays, misunderstandings. Strength is built in moments, not miracles. You won't always get it right, and that's okay. This path is not about perfection, but awareness. Every time you pause instead of explode, you reclaim your energy. You stop being a slave to the moment and start becoming the master of your state. Over time, people will notice. Your quiet presence will say more than anger ever could. Your grounded energy will calm the space around you, because real peace doesn't need volume, it resonates in stillness. So ask yourself, are you growing from your experiences, or just repeating reactions that keep you stuck? Can you hold space inside when the outside world trembles? This isn't just emotional regulation, it's spiritual evolution. It's choosing clarity over chaos, patience over performance, presence over pressure. Each time you choose to respond rather than react, you're not just keeping peace, you're becoming peace. Conclusion: return to your center, reclaim your power. In a world obsessed with urgency, noise, and distraction, your quiet focus is a rebellion. You are not here to chase validation or drown in drama. You're here to awaken to your deepest truth. The more you align with that inner stillness, the more magnetic you become. You no longer need to fight for attention. You radiate presence. Control is not about forcing the world to bend. It's about mastering the only thing you've ever truly owned: yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your time, your breath. Zen wisdom teaches that truth only emerges when the mind is still. So clear the noise. Let go of the need to explain, to convince, to be understood. Your worth doesn't need to be proven. It needs to be honored. True transformation begins not in noise, but in silence. Not in chaos, but in discipline. Not in being seen, but in seeing yourself clearly. Turn inward. Clean your mind.